I don't really sound like that, do I, baby?
Life is like a hurricane here in Duckburg. Race cars, lasers, airplanes. It's a Duckburg. Might solve the mystery or rewrite history. DuckTales. Every day they're out there making DuckTales. Tales of daring, do bad and good.
Welcome, Lion Robots, to Geek Salad episode 177. Reboots are made for walking.
And that's what we're gonna do. For the next 2 hours, we're gonna talk all about reboots.
So anyway, yes, today we are talking all about fantasy reboots. Stuff that we would want to see rebooted from our childhood. In the spirit of stuff like She-Ra, which is now getting a second season on Netflix, and Voltron, and a whole bunch of other stuff. DuckTales.
Yeah.
So there's a whole bunch of stuff that we want to go into, and we want to kick in immediately with the social media feedback, because, oh god, there's a lot of it.
We got a lot.
Oh my goodness, there is so much stuff here. I'm actually going to start with one that I got from Twitter. Joe Murphy, at Mr. Anathema on Twitter, said, "It's just time for the great American hero. Greatest American hero. James Wood can play Bill Maxwell, and the kid from Moonlight can play Ralph."
Nice.
That's actually a good one. That
was a good show.
If it weren't for the fact that James Woods is such an irredeemable piece of shit that it's like, What else you guys got for social media stuff? Because we got tons.
I got tons too.
All right. Well, who wants to go first? You know what? I'll do another one here because I have it up already. Mark Elliott brings up Soylent Green. In which case, I have to ask, which hammy actor are you going to cast now to take the Heston role? Yes, Soylent Green, because that's exactly what the society is being driven to anyway. Yes. We are devolving to eating people.
Chris Hemsworth could be pretty funny in that.
He could be pretty funny in that.
He's not traditionally hammy, but he could ham.
He absolutely can ham.
Nathan Fillion is just made of ham.
He is. He is.
Yeah, he is.
Then I've got Matt Jones, and a lot of people brought this one up, Land of the Lost.
Yeah.
Because we're all rightfully ignoring the Will Ferrell movie.
Yes, we are.
Yes, and the 90s reboot.
I forgot about the 90s reboot.
Well, it's been 20 years.
The sleeve stacks were short and bumbling.
Oh.
But they look cool.
No, they were short and bumbling. The original sleeve stacks were scary.
And they look like dudes in rubber suits.
They were They were Los Angeles, like UCLA basketball players. That's who they cast because they were really tall and really skinny.
And Jonna brings up a really good one here. I'm amazed that given the She-Ra reboot, there wasn't one for He-Man. Mike, you had mentioned here they dropped hints about He-Man mythos in season 1 of She-Ra, so it's not out of the question.
Yeah, I think they're just trying to get She-Ra to kind of stand on her own first.
Yeah.
And then before they start.
Is that letting the boys come in?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough because they have tried rebooting He-Man and the Masters of the Universe so many times.
Isn't the movie being worked on right now? So I think the focus is probably going to be on the movie first.
Yeah.
On the feature film before they do anything.
They got some writers, and I believe they have a director lined up as well. Yeah. And they just cast, well, I don't, did they cast or are they in talks?
They're in talks.
They're in talks with someone to play He-Man.
Okay. Because I just live in terror every day that it's going to end up becoming a Space Marines movie. Because I had actually heard, like, about 5 years ago, that was like, okay, we're doing Masters of the Universe, and I got 2 words for you. Space Marines.
Yeah, I think that was Mick G.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, what else do you got? What else do we have for feedback here?
Well, Mike's the one who got the most feedback.
Oh, my God, yeah.
We'll go through Mike's thread.
Colton Hunt brought up Johnny Quest, if only to see how they would update Haji this time.
They technically did that with the Venture Brothers.
Yeah.
Well, the Venture Brothers is more of a loving parody.
Yeah.
And satire of Johnny Quest, but I think a honest reboot of Johnny Quest would be interesting. And they can make Haji into Depinder.
Next, Joseph Hicks You wrote, Reboot needs a reboot for sure.
Wow, what a scumbag.
What? He liked Reboot.
And
I don't know. I liked Reboot too.
love Reboot.
It was a good show.
I'm just making fun because it's Catherine's husband. So.
To which I asked him if he's not a fan of the Guardian Code, which was the Reboot show on Netflix. It was it was like an animation, live action crossover.
All right.
Keith Dombrowski wrote Dino Riders.
God. Oh, I barely remember Dino Riders.
I barely remember the toys that this was obviously based on.
It was actually post-apocalyptic, so it was kind of depressing, actually.
Yes, did they have a toy line?
Yeah, yes.
I rest my case. The state rests, Mike.
Then Joe Hicks brought up another one, but I'm not going to mention it because it's on my list.
Okay.
And then Chris
and I got into back and forth on this one.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, Chris posted a few things that
I kind of corrected him.
Yeah, first he wrote Force 5, all of them, especially Starvengers, a.k.a. Getter Robo.
Yep.
To which Joe pointed out that it was actually rebooted already. Then he...
Okay, so Chris mentioned Force 5. We all know what Force 5 was. 5 different anime packages as a series. The ones he mentioned were like Starvenger, which is Getter was actually Getter Dragon in Japan. But that series has been rebooted so many times in Japan. Like there's like 10 different Getter Robo series, and the latest one was like in 2004. And the other one was mentioned like Guy King was another Force 5 that was rebooted back in 2006. It's called Legend of Daikyu Mario Guy King. It's actually excellent if anybody is interested in watching it. And then he also he's posted a GIF, and underneath it was this gem Star Blazers. I'm like, well, the GIF he's posted is from the reboot for Star Blazers from Yamato 2199, and I pointed that out to him, and he's like, oh,
You poor bastard, Chris.
Alright, and then Jonna brings up Inspector Gadget.
You know what? I think that's due for a good animated update because their fucking movies are so bad.
Yeah. Plus, I mean...
Yeah, not Matthew Broderick's best effort.
No.
But you know what? Lately, sadly, there really haven't been a whole lot of Matthew Broderick's best efforts. After the producers, it's just been one scene of, like, just that unaffected, oh no, voice that...
Yeah.
I point you to the Christmas Story Live.
He needs a reboot.
Yeah. Lisa Denoncourt Cross brings up another one that I'm going to again skip over because it's on my list. Katie Hick actually brings up my honorable mention, which is Darkwing Duck. And the reason it's not on my list is because I suspect that they're probably aiming for one. They've been dropping enough hints about Darkwing Duck in the DuckTales reboot.
Exactly. And that's the thing, too, is that that DuckTales reboot is so good.
Yes.
That I wouldn't be shocked if you get the Quack Pack back at some point. Like, you could still do...
not the Quack Pack show, because that one was god-awful.
Right. No, but like the Donald and Friends type of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, that Disney afternoon could conceivably come back as, like, the Disney Saturday afternoon... stuff, because they're weekly shows now. They're not doing the full, like, 38 episodes a season.
Yeah. Amazingly enough, in DuckTales Season 1, the reboot Season 1, they've already dropped hints about Gummy Bears, Tailspin, Goof Troop, and Darkwing Duck.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah,
so either they're working on it all, or they're just giving the parents a bone and stuff.
Yeah.
Just run off names.
Anyway, next I've got Ender Kens brings up Visionaries.
Oh, God. With the power of holograms.
Yeah. I actually had a few of those toys. Those holograms died out pretty quickly.
Yeah, they did.
They faded real fast.
You know, I just remember those just being like... I had kind of been done with the toys and action figures at that point. Yeah. But still, you go into a Toys R Us, it's like, why are these all on clearance? Didn't these just come out?
Yes, they
it's
did.
Like Sectors.
Insectors,
yeah. All the characters you can ride upon are gloves.
I had a couple of those.
they actually look really cool.
And I got one more, and it's also from Joseph Hicks. Big budget reboot of the Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
Go follow that up with the other stuff that he mentioned about that.
And he says, "Meet the Hollywood bigwigs. Come on, you fucks, do it. You made like 6 Sharknadoes and The Meg. Give me this."
I think that's legitimate.
Yeah. That's
If you're going to stick us with a whole bunch of lousy Sharknado movies, you can give us the big budget Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
They don't even need big budget. They just need Sci-Fi Channel budget.
It's
Which...
probably bigger budget than the original Attack of the Killer
exactly.
Tomatoes. Tomato.
Now that song will be stuck in everybody's head for the rest of the night.
Thank you.
Attack
No,
the Killer
tomatoes
Tomatoes.
suck. You absolute ballbags.
Oh, good lord. All right.
Tell Joe you said that. There's going to be tomatoes in our near future.
So, is that all the social media feedback we have?
That's all I got.
All right, wonderful. So, one of the podcasts I just started listening to recently, Verbal Diorama, hosted by the very lovely and very British M.
Very British.
Yes, she wanted to get involved in this show, and obviously with the 5-hour time difference and the fact that we are just really unorganized.
No way.
She thought it best to send an audio clip, which is probably for the best. So, here's M from Verbal Diorama giving her picks.
Hello, Geek Salad. This is Em from Verbal Diorama, and I just want to say a big thanks for inviting me to get involved with this particular episode. Shows from our childhood we'd like to see rebooted. So, yeah, I literally got asked, probably about 12 or so hours ago, to come on. Oh, that's my cat. Hello. She wants to get involved as well. So, I want to talk about some shows from my childhood that I would love to see rebooted. So, honourable mentions. So, my first honourable mention would be Jason the Wheeled Warriors, because I always found it really interesting as a kid that they had this kind of really interesting premise with the whole sort of biotechnology and, you know, these plants that were like monsters who wanted to conquer the universe. But it was really just a story about this kid called Jace who was trying to find his father. And I don't know, I just thought it was really fun. And also, the theme song is belting. I find with a lot of these kids shows, especially from the 80s and 90s, the theme songs are so good. And, you know, you could just find yourself singing along. My second is a British show, because British, called Count Duckula. And you're probably thinking, Count Duckula? That sounds ridiculous. Well, let me tell you, it is pretty ridiculous. It was actually a spin-off from another famous British children's cartoon called Danger Mouse, which is essentially a send-up of James Bond. It's a mouse who's a spy, and Count Duckula was originally a villain on Danger Mouse. And then he got his own show, and he kind of changed, and he became like this really friendly protagonist. And he's a vampire, but he's vegetarian, so he's a vampire duck, and he's vegetarian because instead of being given blood when he was generated, he was given tomato ketchup. So that's why he's vegetarian. I would love to see Count Duckula. They actually rebooted Danger Mouse a few years ago, so you never know, we might see Count Duckula. It would be great. So that's my second honourable mention. My third is another British show which is very quirky and very fun, called Banana Man. Banana Man. It kind of says everything you need to know. So a schoolboy called Eric lives in a normal street in a normal town, and whenever he eats a banana, he transforms into this large muscular superhero called Banana Man. And fights crime. So it's essentially a parody of the whole superhero genre. They basically say that he has the muscles of 20 men and the brains of 20 mussels, as in the seafood. I mean, why would you not want to see more of that? A reboot, I think, would be great. because it's very fun and it just basically takes the piss. And if you can't take the piss and enjoy life, then, you know, what's it worth? But you really like Banana Man? She really likes Banana Man. So really the main one that I want to talk about is Captain Planet and the Planeteers, mainly because it feels more relevant now than ever. You know, our planet is really suffering because of us. There's plastic in our oceans, our reliance on fossil fuels is causing mass pollution, and we as humans are killing species of animals left, right and centre every day. And I don't care what certain leaders might say, global warming is a serious thing, it's a problem. And if we don't make a change, everyone's going to suffer. So really, a show like Captain Planet and the Planeteers was revolutionary in the 90s. But it's even more important now. Captain Planet, if anyone doesn't know, it took 5 kids from across the globe and each gave them a power. And together they could call on Captain Planet to help. As the song says, you know, he's our hero, going to take pollution down to zero. So you had Kwame from Africa, you had Guy from Asia, Linka from Eastern Europe, Marty from South America and Wheeler from North America. And each had a magic ring from Gaia, the spirit of Earth. The messages in that show were always quite poignant and they sometimes were a little bit on the nose. But essentially, Captain Planet always insisted that the power is yours. And I think that, again, is even more relevant now than it ever was. But it was a really fun show. It was always enjoyable and it was always informative. And I think it would be a really good idea to get kids on board with saving the environment. You know, make it cool to care. The movie was talked about as recently as 2016, and it's actually Leonardo DiCaprio's production company who were actually in talks to develop it. But like most reboots, it stalled. No one's ever heard of it. And also, Captain Planet's a bit hot. And I kind of feel like if they made a film, like they'd probably cast Tom Hiddleston or something like that. And I mean, that would be perfect for me. I'd be more than happy with that. But I think it needs to be in cartoon format, you know, just so that the women of the world just don't go crazy for Captain Planet. Also, the theme song's really great. So there are mine and my cat's suggestions for the show we'd like to see rebooted. I think she prefers Banana Man, though. Thanks for letting me on the show. Bye!
All right. Well, Joe already mentioned that she already classed up this joint about tenfold.
Yep.
I actually used to watch Danger Mouse all the time.
Yeah,
I love Danger Mouse.
Danger Mouse was so good.
Mouse. Oh, Penfold, who was second runner-up in the Penfold Lookalike Contest.
Oh God!
And the evil. Oh, what was his name? Greenback. Something Greenback.
Yeah, Horace Greenback, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
I really want to know more about what her cat thinks of Banana Boy, though.
Yeah,
Banana Man.
That one was wrong on me.
Yeah, that does sound like a very, very British.
It does sound
show,
incredibly British.
It's only because if it was done here, it'd be Banana Man, and that sounds stupid. But yeah, no, it's just funny. When you bring up Captain Planet, I mean, that was kind of like a little past my time. So to me, it was just big blue dude with mullet. But there were 2 current. I don't want to call them reboots because it's not fair to call them reboots. Just like pokes at Captain Planet. There's the Robot Chicken one where Ted Turner becomes Captain Planet, and he's just like staring into a mirror, like putting the makeup on. Planet. Recycle, or I'll fucking kill you. And then the college humor Don Cheadle. Oh, no, it's actually Funny or Die.
Funny or Die.
Don Cheadle playing Captain
Black
Planet.
Man with a shock of green hair.
Yeah, and he just kept like pulsing his crotch towards things and destroying everything.
It was so wrong.
No, it was awesome.
But it was funny.
Awesome.
It was so wrong, but so funny.
He's my pick for who should play Captain Planet in the live action. But thank you so much. If you want to listen to her show, by the way, I'll drop the plug now. She is also available pretty much where we're available. iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify. Check her out on Twitter at Verbal Diorama. She's got a great show, great point of view. She just did her Roger Rabbit episode, which was quite good. Mm-hmm. And she just covered Dredd, which was interesting to say the least, because we had talked about Dredd about a year and a half ago on our 150 episode as a runner-up. and one of those superhero movies that people wanted, I want this, I want this, I want this, and then they didn't go see it.
Yep.
Kind of like Punisher Warzone.
Fucking nerds.
I think Dredd was great.
Dredd was amazing.
The Carl Urban Dredd was fucking amazing.
And you have Lena Headey as the lead bad guy.
Right, exactly.
But again, it's one of those things. The nerd culture wants something, and then they
I'm good.
Bastards.
I'm good. How dare Captain Marvel say that you didn't have her?
Yeah.
Well, if Tony Stark said it, you'd be all like, "Yeah, you're badass." God, I hate nerd culture now. Moving on. Anyway, thank you again, Em. We do appreciate it. Yes, we look forward to some of our collaborations this summer. We have a couple slated, so they will be fun.
And it was Baron Silas Greenback.
There you go, yes.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right, so we all picked about 5 here. I don't know. I know for me, at least one of these was a joke, but...
Yeah, I'm not...
Yeah.
So, I guess I'll get started because I'm first on the list here because I wrote the timeline. All right. I think we definitely... It's time now for a reboot of 1984's Saturday morning classic Turbo Teen.
Oh, yeah. That's the joke one, right?
Right, exactly. No, actually, it's the one on the end. No, it's about a boy who, when he gets wet, he turns into a car. A bitchin' Camaro.
It was a stormy night when a bolt of lightning forced me off the road. My car skidded into a government laboratory where a top-secret experiment was underway. I swerved into the path of Dr. Chase's molecular transfer ray, causing me and my car to become one. The incredible Turbo Teen!
Oh my god,
yes.
80s. Oh my
god.
Yes,
It's one of those...
That transformation scene was creepy.
It was creepy.
I don't think I watched that show much.
But it was like one of those things. It was a half-hour episode, and if I'm not mistaken, it was like broken up into 2 15-minute interstitials.
Yeah.
And about 90% of the animation was recycled.
Probably.
It didn't go a full season.
Yeah.
I think it got trounced by Muppet Babies, released the same year. So
properly so.
So, as is Justin Wright in a Justin Wright world.
Yeah, because Muppet Babies was awesome.
Right.
Muppet Babies was a great show. Yeah.
Right. This was back in an age before we had Cadbury egg mayonnaise.
Oh God! Stop.
Apparently, it's
we've just brought this on ourselves, right?
It's not just I heard about this again. Like I'd seen it before.
Yeah.
I heard about it again this morning. Apparently, in addition to the cream center, it also has chocolate chunks
in the mayonnaise. All right.
But the thing is that it's only available in the UK, so they've got the good British Cadbury chocolate, not the shit that we get over here.
Well, aren't you lucky, Em? We're gonna be shouting back to her all night, aren't we?
You spread it on your banana.
Your banana.
Your banana man.
Your banana man. Yeah, that's just... Oh, God. It's like, I don't want to talk about Turbo Teen. I want to talk about this awful mayonnaise.
Fuck off with your mayonnaise, okay?
Are you not a mayonnaise guy, Joe?
I am, but fuck that shit. Jesus Christ.
All right, real quick before we have to move on, what are your feelings on Miracle Whip?
Oh, I love Miracle Whip. I'm a Miracle Whip fan.
I don't think I've ever eaten Miracle Whip because I think it's goblin jizz, but other than...
What do you think mayonnaise is, okay? Jesus Christ,
okay.
It's like egg and stuff.
I know, but...
It's emulsified egg. Thanks for not taking the joke bait. All right. Mike.
Yes.
Go, because I just made a joke. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm going to start off with Captain N the Game Master.
Captain N the Game Master. Tell us what Captain N the Game Master, the original version, was.
Jesus Christ, I thought you said the Game Master.
The Game Master. Well, it was the early 90s, and we still weren't being all that PC.
Welcome to Videoland.
Mega High! Wake up, Kitticus!
Welcome to Castlevania.
It's Congo Land!
Mother Brain will get you, little princess.
Princess, the palace is under siege!
Behold, the ultimate warp zone.
It was.
I've accessorized my power glove.
It was the story of Kevin, a guy in the real world, who, along with his dog, gets sucked into the video game world, where he becomes Captain N, the Game Master, and he has to fight against the forces of evil led by Mother Brain, the Eggplant Wizard, and King Hippo from Metroid, Kid Icarus, and
Mike Tyson's Punch-Out!
Yes.
I find it interesting that the easiest guy to beat in Punch-Out! Is one of the big bads.
Yeah.
And he was aided by the video game princess, who I can't remember what her name was. Simon Belmont, who was kind of an arrogant prick. Mega Man, who sounded like he smoked 20 packs a day.
Yeah.
And Kid Icarus, who really didn't do anything.
Just like his games.
Yeah.
Now, was Mega Man, needlessly difficult? Spitefully so?
But I just think if you do it now, you can you could actually use modern game references, and it could actually look really cool. You could kind of really make it a scope much more epic.
You could.
Imagine being in video game worlds and seeing them in 3-dimensional, seeing them as if you were walking through the entire level. That'd be pretty cool. Come on.
I still think that part of its charm was the fact that none of those characters looked anything like their video game doppelgangers.
No,
not really.
Exactly. Power glove. Come on.
and
fuck off with that shit. Put that thing away.
And Mother Brain had this really weird face on her.
Oh, yeah. You know what she reminded me of? I don't know if you guys have ever seen the Raggedy Ann and Andy movie.
No.
I mean,
there's such a thing?
If Catherine hasn't seen it, you're looking at me like you haven't seen it.
Is this
This is the one from the late 70s with the big caramel creature thing.
No.
All right, it's
I was trying to see wasn't there some Saturday Night Live stuff with Raggedy Ann and Andy?
No. This was an actual.
I just had homemade Raggedy Ann and Andy dolls.
Oh, okay.
Back in the 70s.
There was a movie. It was an animated movie. It's just it's like animation deep track. You can't find it anywhere, and it's actually a pretty decently animated movie. But there was this character that was like a sticky candy creature that reminded me a lot of Mother Brain.
Yeah, Mother Brain also sounded like a female version of Audrey 2.
Okay,
the plant from.
I always thought she sounded like a drag queen, but that's beside the point.
Well, maybe a drag queen version of Audrey 2.
Okay,
anyway.
All right,
but yeah.
All right, Catherine.
The first one I'm going to kick off is a cartoon that I liked, Kid Video.
Oh God!
Which was about this band that gets together and then they get blasted into a cartoon world on the flip side.
Oh my God, I remember this now. Oh,
yeah,
Jesus.
We look like cartoons. Welcome to the flip side, and they're facing down Master Blaster, and they,
and Cousin Oliver from the Brady Bunch was one of the members.
Yeah,
and they have all kinds of adventures on the flip side, and it's all musically related, and there's always a live video, movie song segment, and they have all kinds of music. This was when I learned about woofers and tweeters because these were creatures in the forest, and I was like. My mother thought it was hilarious. I'm like, why? It's my mother goes and points to her speakers and explains woofers and tweeters, and it was just goofy fun.
Yeah. How would you reboot this one?
Just do it. just get another struggling band.
Yeah.
I mean, OK Go wouldn't really work because it's all male. You need some gender diversity, but some kind of manufactured band and a little bit of silliness and adventures in a cartoon world.
Okay, what is with this era of cartoons where everyone's getting sucked into things?
Well, that was the one that I wouldn't go into is the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon.
Oh God!
I don't think that needs to be rebooted because of nerd culture at this point.
Right. Oh god, I can't imagine the toxicity that would be around a Dungeons and Dragons cartoon.
Oh my god. Well, considering how diverse the original Dungeons and Dragons cartoon was.
Yeah, they had a young white boy, an older white boy, a black girl, a redhead, and then macho white boy.
That's pretty diverse from the mid-80s. Okay, we're talking mid-80s.
1983 was a diverse time if you were the token black guy.
Exactly. Take it from the token Puerto Rican guy.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was a token black girl.
Oh, okay.
So we got the double diversity wham.
Two demographics at one.
Yeah,
in one person.
And she may be a lesbian. We don't know.
We had 2 girls, 2 guys, and then like somebody's kid brother.
And don't forget the unicorn that sounded like a lamb.
Oh, Uni, the unicorn.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
That's not what I'm voting for. I am voting for Kid Video.
Okay, excellent. Excellent. All right, Joe, your turn.
Okay, my first pick is a fairly obscure cartoon. I think it only ran for like half a season, like maybe 6-7 episodes on ABC on Saturday mornings. And it's actually a takeoff of a Japanese anime called God Mars, but here it was called the Mighty Mighty Orbots.
Okay.
Mighty Orbots, they're joining together to fight for what's right everywhere. Mighty Orbots, protecting the world from the shadow of evil and doom. Orbots, champions of justice and truth.
And it's basically like, it came out around the time that Voltron was really becoming popular, so it was like one of those combination robot shows where you had 6 separate robots or 5 separate robots that combined into one and go out and save the monster, fight the monster of the week. But when it came out, the animation on it for a Saturday morning cartoon show for an anime fan like me was like out of this world because it was high quality animation. And it was made by the same company, by the same animation studio that did God Mars in Japan.
So it wasn't like just an import, right?
No, it wasn't an import. It was the same concept as God Mars in that it's you got 5 separate robots that combine into a giant one. But in this one, each robot had its own personality, was its own sentient being, and the main character, the pilot of the giant who would be the giant robot. He had a secret identity. He was supposed to be a superhero. Nobody knew who he was. He was like this dashing, the dashing blonde, blue-eyed superhero. But in his normal life, he's just like a geeky scientist who has these 5 robots who just hang around with him all the time.
Of course,
it was pretty. I thought it was pretty cool, and I'd like to see that rebooted.
How would you reboot it though? What would you change?
Considering giving the advances in animation. And a good example of this is it's called Star Blazers here, but Space Battleship Yamato originally came out in 1973. They rebooted it back in 2012 as Space Battleship Yamato 2199, and it's just used all modern animation techniques, like cel shaded CGI. They updated, but the biggest thing that they did is they updated the story. And they made the story there's a lot more in-depth, there's a lot more depth to the story, a lot more meaning to it. And you can do that with Mighty Orbots, make it more than just a kiddie show, using modern animation techniques and modern storytelling techniques that appeals to both kids and adults.
So kind of like what they did with Voltron.
Yeah, it's kind of the same sort of thing.
All right, cool. All right, so I'm up next. All right, so the next one. Now, this was a property I remember being pre-Star Wars. So when I was asked, what did you do before Star Wars came around, it was Micronauts.
The noble Micronauts, heroic beings from the microverse, scale an Earth mountain in pursuit of glory. The path is long and treacherous. However...
Shut up, Pharoid. It's getting old.
Fatigue sets in, turning the Micronaut called Eddie into a total ballsack.
Shut it!
I remember it as a comic book.
Yeah.
See, I remember it as a comic book. It was a Marvel comic book. It's part of the Microverse, which is still part of the MCU now.
Yep. The Quantum Realm.
Ooh. We're not talking about it right now. You have 2 weeks.
We can't talk about it until post April 26th.
Yep. So the Micronauts was an interesting one because this was more of a toy line that never had a cartoon.
Yeah.
But you had like these characters that are like part man, part robot, and they would just
transparent.
Oh, they were all transparent. Yes, they and they would just get into space battles. And there's so many cool things, and the toys I love because a lot of the larger toys had like magnetic joints on them, and I remember there's one character was like a robot named Biotron, and you could actually stick one of the characters in his chest to make him control the thing. Cool. And it was really cool. So I mean, I would reboot this just by making a cartoon of this, but like a super high detailed, like one of those really good Disney. Freeform cartoons with even the animation of Star Wars Resistance.
Star Wars Resistance or the animation from like Clone Wars or Rebels?
I would probably do Resistance for this one. I just think it might fit a bit better with the cell shading and
yeah.
So
I will say, do you remember when Robot Chicken did like Micronaut skits?
Yeah.
Climbing up the girl's boob.
Yeah.
Thinking it was a mountain. Sorry, Catherine.
I'm flashing to a much more pure place of Grover goes for a walk on you.
Okay.
Oh.
It was from a record, and it's actually kind of like a meditation where you just I just imagine the peace and calm, like you started washes up from your toes and go that way. Except Grover's going for an exploratory walk, and he skips from like your knee. He like gets tired, so you pick him up and put him on your chin. We're just gonna skip the middle part there.
Yeah. Grover doesn't want to walk on your dick.
Nope.
So much more meditative.
Yep. All right. Mike.
Yes. Actually,
go.
Before I go into my next one, I want to just give a quick shout out to Nerds United's one podcast. They actually did this topic for their last episode, and I was on there.
Yep.
A couple of the ones I'm springing up here did show up on there, but I've also got a lot of new ones.
Gotcha. And you can listen to Nerds United on YouTube, right?
Yes, you can.
Excellent. So
my next one is the only live action one I've got. It's was a show that ran for I think 2 seasons. It was a Saturday morning live action show called Erie, Indiana.
My name is Marshall Teller. I knew my new hometown was going to be different from where I grew up in New Jersey, but this is ridiculous. Nobody believes me, but Erie, Indiana is the center of weirdness for the entire planet. Item. Elvis lives on my paper route.
Thank you, little paper boy.
Item. Bigfoot eats out of my trash. Item. Even man's best friend is weird. Still don't believe me? You will.
Sounds familiar.
I remember it, yeah. It had the short tubby kid and the tall kid.
Neither one was really tubby, but...
What was it? Am I thinking of another show? Another Nickelodeon.
Oh, it wasn't Nickelodeon.
It was a ginger, kind of short tubby.
Yeah, no, he was ginger. But it's set in a town called Erie, Indiana, obviously. And basically, you get this kid. He moves in. His name is Marshall. Yeah, and he basically realizes that the town is the center of weirdness for all of the United States, or possibly all of the world.
Would you say it was Erie?
Exactly.
You know what it sounds like? You know what it sounds like? Yeah. Gravity Falls.
No, it very, very similar to that, actually. So, I mean, each episode just kind of has him dealing with him and his best friend Simon trying to find out what's going on, like what new weird thing are they encountering.
Monster of the Week.
Yeah, kind of. Most of them were pretty. It's still a kids show, so most of them were fun, pretty, just goofy and whatever.
Right.
But there were a couple of pretty chilling ones. Like there's one where one of their schoolmates get these huge new braces, and he finds out that he can actually hear what dogs are saying. But the dogs are it starts taking a turn for the worse when the dogs realize that the kid can hear them.
Oh no.
And it kind of ends with the dogs chasing the kid off, and they never hear from the kid again. But one of the dogs brings the kids braces to them the next morning, all mangled up.
Oh man!
Yeah, so it got kind of freaky, but it was very much a Monster of the Week thing, and I think if they like found like just like one overarching kind of
they had one story kind of like how the X-Files would do, like, there was this one over-encompassing story, and every once in a while they take a break for the Monster of the Week, or the comedy episode or something.
Yeah, like, you know, every episode or every couple episodes they'd have, like, a link to it somehow.
Yep.
I think if you did that in, like, maybe with shorter seasons, I think it could be pretty cool. I mean, still keep some of that edgy, like, possibly scary parts.
Yeah.
I think you could do it pretty good.
Awesome. All right, Catherine, you're up.
Oh, man.
Got caught red-handed.
Well, I'm not used to us doing a figure 8 shape around the room.
What's going down the list?
My next up on my list is Herculoids.
Somewhere out in space live the Herculoids. Zuck, the laser ray dragon. Igu, the giant rock ape. Tundro, the tremendous. Bloop and Bleep, the formless, fearless wonders. With Xandor, their leader. And his wife, Tara, and son, Dorno.
Oh, God.
I want to see the Herculoids. I want to see a live-action reboot of the Herculoids, because you could do that now.
You can do that now. That's gonna for my next pick is gonna be a live action.
Like it was originally, obviously, it was originally a Hanna-Barbera cartoon, but I think you could do a live-action Herculoids.
You could.
Seeing Gleep and Gloop in live action would be kind of weird, though.
Oh, it'd be awesome.
That would be great.
No, it'd be cool, but it'd be kind of weird.
Yeah, well, that's the reason why it has to be the Herculoids, because Gloop and Gleep are over here, as opposed to like a full-on Barba Papa's reboot.
No.
Where it would just be all Gloop and Gleep all the time.
Yeah.
No.
God, can you imagine
with special cameos by Space Ghost?
Right. I mean, Gloop and Gleep, or Barba Papa being like rendered in like photorealistic CG.
Oh God.
Can you imagine what was the name of that the flying dragon thing?
I can't remember.
Yeah,
the one that shot lasers out of its mouth and tail.
Yeah. that would be so cool to see now.
It's really funny that we only remember the names of Gloop and Gleep.
Well,
can you name any other character on the show? Like, there's the giant rock gorilla, the flying dragon that shoots lasers, there's the man, the woman, and their kid,
rhino
the rhino with the blasters,
out of its horn.
But you don't remember their names.
Right.
You only remember Gloop and Gleep.
Because they're Gloop and Gleep.
And they look like Shmoos. You remember Shmoo?
Yeah.
They look like Shmoo.
Yeah.
I think you could do it photorealistically. It's kind of like the adipose, only more so.
Yeah. And see, if as a Doctor Who fan, I get that.
Yeah.
I just remember that being like before the real good Saturday morning cartoons would come on. Well, you get like that half-hour Hanna-Barbera thing where it might be the Herculoids.
There was the one with the barbarian that had the lightsaber.
Well, that's Thunder the Barbarian. He's later on my list.
I got the names. There's Xandor and Tara, and their son Dorno.
Yep.
And then the creatures were Zoc, the flying dragon, space dragon.
Yep.
Igu, the rock ape.
Yep.
Tundro, the
rhino.
Rhino, and then Gloop and Gleep.
Yep.
But none of them were named Herculoid.
No, that was the team name.
Yes.
The Herculoids. Good Lord. I think a live action version would be hilarious.
Yeah,
it really would be.
It would be pretty badass, though.
It depends. I mean, because it would be really the audience for that would be us.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing.
Were you born in the 70s and over 40 years old?
Kids these days could really get into that. Like, even the woman, like, she rode around on the back of one of the creatures. I think it was the dragon. And, like, she's got this slingshot and it shoots, like, explosive rocks. It wasn't just like she was like, no, they were like, pfft.
But just imagine Herculoids looking like Game of Thrones.
Ooh, okay.
Huh? See? Those dragons, instead of the dragon, you have Zoc.
Yep. Oh, boy. All right. Joe, you're up.
My next one is... It's an animated show that I would love to see as a reboot, a live-action reboot, and it's the Galaxy Rangers.
Oh, God.
In 2086, 2 peaceful aliens journeyed to Earth, seeking our help. In return, they gave us the plans for our first hyperdrive, allowing mankind to open the doors to the stars. We have assembled a team of unique individuals to protect Earth and our allies. Courageous pioneers committed to the highest ideals of justice and dedicated to preserving law and order across the new frontier. These are the adventures of the Galaxy Rangers.
That's not the one with... No. Is that the one with, like, the Space Cowboys?
No. Yes.
Oh, God.
The cyborg Space Cowboys.
Oh, okay.
Oh, God.
The lead was voiced by Jerry Orbach.
Oh, Jesus.
But no, I mean...
Space Rikers.
No, but I mean, when it came out back like, I want to say 85, 84, 85, mid-80s.
Yep.
It's a little big blur for me. It was wicked ahead of its time in terms of the quality of the animation. It was one of the first mainstream syndicated daily cartoons that integrated CGI into its format, and it had a fairly pretty good story. I mean, it was a typical monster of the week and everything, but I mean, it ran for 3 seasons. I think had like almost 100 episodes.
Wow.
And I think a modern live action reboot would probably be along the same spirit as kind of Firefly, Space Cowboys. Yeah. But instead of, being like the roguish, it'd be like just, Western sheriff.
Yeah.
And really, there aren't any good, there hasn't really been a good Western TV show in a long, long time.
No.
And if you could do something like that with a modern sci-fi twist, I think it would go very, very well.
Yeah.
And with with modern TV CGI technology, you could really pull off the sci-fi.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's an interesting one. Again, this is just out of my my time of age. All right, next up on my list, we move from my last pick, Micronauts, to ROM, Space Knight.
ROM, Space Knight, a warrior made of solid metal. He's beaten the galaxy's toughest villains, but now faces a foe in every way his equal. Jim, the guy with a giant magnet.
Come here.
No.
Come on.
Nuh-uh.
Chicken.
You are.
ROM, Space Chicken.
Mature.
Yeah, your mom was mature last night.
What?
Did her.
I'll teach you.
Teach this. Where's your gun now?
I didn't need it anyway.
Oh, Rami, it's on my magnet.
You suck.
Another one of those, it was based on a toy. This is a Hasbro toy that, Mike, you said might be part of that Hasbro extended universe.
They got the guy that wrote the script for Ready Player One working on the script for this movie.
Okay. ROM is an interesting character, and again, it's like comic books. That's really where I know ROM from, the comic books. But the comic books were super badass, because not only was ROM he was just a big friggin' robot with a gun. The Dire Wraiths are one of the best villains, one of the best, intergalactic villains that, the X-Men ever faced and ROM ever faced. Because they're terrifying.
Yeah.
They're just like the Brood. They essentially, they have these little things that they'll, just shoot it into your forehead and then just steal your essence and your image and you just crumble into a pile of dust. So it's just creepy. I mean, they're all rip-offs of Alien.
Yeah.
But still.
Yeah.
But ROM would just be really cool because he looks cool. Again, this could be animated. I wouldn't mind seeing this as a
this would be good for CGI animated.
He would have to be CG. He would absolutely have to be CG. But you give him that team of all those D-list superheroes that he fought with in kind of the waning days of his comic book. You give him Brock Jones Torpedo. Put a couple of Nova Corps in there. Put Nova in there. Put the actual Nova in there.
Actually, that would be a problem though, because the ROM character is owned by Hasbro. The ROM comics are owned by Marvel.
Right.
And so you can't... And they don't get along with that. So you couldn't use Dire Wraiths as the villain because the Dire Wraiths are owned by Marvel.
Yeah, and that's a tough one. I mean, in a perfect world when everyone gets along, this would be awesome.
Oh, yeah.
And hoping at one point... I honestly... Really, this is just a plea for me to get ROM on the Marvel Unlimited app. He's not in there yet, and he really should be. I really want to read ROM comic books.
Again, that's why, because Hasbro was the character, and so they won't let Marvel publish the comics.
God damn it.
Yeah.
Jesus, Hasbro.
Fuck off, Hasbro.
Well, no. Well, Hasbro has...
You made one good Transformers movie.
Well,
one!
No, you know what it is? I think it's because Hasbro has a contract with IDW.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For Transformers and G.I. Joe.
And they're all being released through Paramount.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, as far as the comic books, IDW publishes Hasbro comics.
Yeah, so there's just like a gigantic whole legal mix-up going on around with ROM. ROM just... He just sits in this gray area.
It's exactly... Who wants ROM? It's like Man-Thing. Universal owns Man-Thing, and nobody gives a fuck about Man-Thing. All right, Mike, you're up.
Not Swamp Thing. It's Man-Thing.
It's Man-Thing, yes.
Next, I'm going to go with the only anime on my list, Ranma 1/2.
Okay.
Meet Ranma Saotome of the Anything Goes School of Martial Arts.
Go!
And here's Akane of the Tendo Training Hall.
What are you doing?
The two have been engaged to marry by their loving parents.
I didn't ask for this. Who asked you?
As for the cause of poor Ranma's suffering,
What did you ask for?
when Ranma is splashed with cold water, he becomes a she.
I agree with you.
Yes.
I actually thought Ranma 1/2 was quite funny.
Yeah.
Ranma, it is hilarious.
And I think you could either do this one animated or live action. I think it could work live action.
I think you could pull off a live action.
I think the comedy and the preposterousness would lose something.
Here's the thing with it, and this is coming from the guy who doesn't watch anime. I might have watched a half an episode of Ranma 1/2. It works better as an anime. Yeah. Just the hijinks, the reactions, that is pure, wide-eyed, closed smile, anime.
Well, for anyone that listens to this that doesn't know what Ranma 1/2 is, sit back. This is kind of a weird one. Ranma is basically, he's this martial artist. He and his father go training in China, and they decide to train in this land of cursed springs. And each one falls into a different spring. Ranma falls into the spring of drowned girl, and his father falls into the spring of drowned panda. So now whenever Ranma gets splashed with cold water, he turns into a she. Whenever his father gets splashed with cold water, he turns into a giant panda.
Is it a father or an uncle?
Father.
I thought it was his uncle, but okay.
No, depends on the dubbing.
Yeah.
And along the way, as the series goes along, you meet a whole bunch of other people that have fallen in different springs. One fell into spring of drowned cat. There's a spring of drowned pig. There's a spring of drowned... Oh, wow. A spring of drowned monkey riding an ox, carrying an eel and a squid, I think. It's
weird.
It gets weird.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
And also, Ranma has, like... He has fiancés that just popped up all over the place.
So when do the noodles come in? I'm sorry, that's ramen. Sorry, go continue.
But this was made by a manga artist named Rumiko Takahashi, and she was great at making characters. But if you watch the series of Ranma 1/2, it was basically just story arc followed by story arc followed by story arc. There's very little connection between them all. It was basically just
episodic.
Very episodic, yeah. But I think if you could go the kind of the Voltron route where you actually have an overarching story arc and just completely change the storylines around. Just take the characters, take their the backstory, but then actually have a fine flowing storyline. I think you could do something really interesting. Again, I would not mind seeing this either live action or animated because I think you could do it live action. I could think that could work, But if you want to do it animated, I would not have an issue with that. I consider this my third anime series that I ever got into, and it's still one of my favorites of all time. And I really would like to have a really compelling reboot of it.
Okay, fair enough. All right, Catherine.
All right, the next one on my list is the Snorks.
Come along with the Snorks. Swim along with the Snorks. So much to see waiting for you and me. Have some fun with the Snorks. Play along with the Snorks. Sing along with the Snorks. Happy we'll be living under the sea. Come along with the Snorks.
Because the Smurfs keep getting movies, and frankly, the Snorks was a better show.
I would not disagree, actually.
I see no lie in that. I really don't.
I like the Snorks a lot more.
Yeah, the Snorks was such a better show. Like when I first saw it,
They
I
were
was
better
like,
than Monchichi, that's for sure.
Oh God!
Manchichi, Manchichi.
You stop.
You stop. You brought them up. You made that stuck in my head, so I'm sharing.
Touché.
But yeah, the Snorks was just a better show. And like I remember seeing it and going, "Oh, it's a knockoff of the Smurfs." And I kept watching it. And I'm like, "This is way better than the Smurfs."
Well, for one, you had multiple female characters.
You had multiple female characters. You didn't have, oh, here is an evil Smurf. She has long, straight, dark hair. We will cast a spell on her and turn her into a good Smurf with long, blonde, curly hair.
Because blondes are good and brunettes are evil, right?
Yeah, and the curly hair also.
Yeah.
As Tina Fey wrote, it's like Tangled, the movie where the girl with the magical blonde hair cuts it and it turns brown.
But she gets to be who she truly is that way. As opposed to
the fake blonde.
Alright, so what would you do with the Snorks? Would this be like another one of those like weird like CG live action hybrids like the Smurfs or
No. It was all underwater and better than SpongeBob. So like yeah, you were all wrong. It should no more SpongeBob, no more Smurfs, Snorks all the way.
Okay. But again,
I like their theme song too.
Snork along
with the Snorks.
It was better than the Smurfs theme song, I think.
The Snorks.
Well, the interesting thing is too is that they didn't have like a human villain that was like his end game was so oddly undefined.
Yeah,
he either wanted to eat them or turn them into gold. It was the Snorks did not have that. The Snorks actually had like. They actually had a civilization. It wasn't like this little commune
of all guys,
fucking hippies. Yeah, one woman.
Which Papa Smurf claimed.
Oh God! Stop!
Well, they eventually tried to make more Smurfs, and because Smurfs are 3 apples high, but the thing was that they used like smaller proportions, and so that's why they got the little Smurfs.
Yeah.
That was like last season. That is like last season chicanery and bullshit.
Yeah. Again, crap.
Yeah.
Andy offended by the Smurfs.
Exactly.
It should be.
There should be.
Smurfs are crap. Snorks.
There you go. All right, Joe.
Now this can be either done as rebooted as a full-length feature film or split into a series, but The Last Starfighter.
It started with a game.
You gonna bust the record!
But it wasn't just any game.
You have been recruited by the Star League to defend the frontier against Zur and the Kodan Armada.
And then, one night...
Centauri's the name. We have to talk about a matter of utmost importance. Step into my office. I've seen him come and I've seen him go, but you're the best, my boy. Light years ahead of the competition.
Hey. Ooh.
Yeah.
That's due. But just because if you see it as a series, you could retell the initial story of the movie of how Alex becomes the last Starfighter. But then from there, you can see how he rebuilds, or he's part of the rebuilding of this society and rebuild the Star Force.
Yeah.
And like you can see like the growth that he has to go through Now, he's the hero that saved the Star Force, but now he's got to rebuild it.
Right, exactly.
Everybody's looking to him.
With his great video game skills.
Right,
he's just
still an 18-year-old boy who's like, what the fuck am I doing?
Hey, I can build pyramids really well.
And then you can have the zany antics of the Betazoid back on Earth, trying to fill in for him.
Oh God! All right, so here's my thoughts on that. First of all, it would have to be if it's done modern day. He's definitely doing it on a home console.
Oh God!
Because let's be honest.
Cabinet
gaming is dead.
No, not a console. MMO. It'd have to be like a Star Wars Galaxy MMO, or like a space-based MMO.
He finds a hidden Easter egg.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, though. He's playing it though. He's got the headset on, and obviously he's got to deal with all the guys calling him gay, and
all the trolls.
All the trolls that are gonna bang his mom. And then when he finally gets into the Starfighter, and he's doing that, he's still hearing that shit. From everybody else.
From all the other pilots, from...
I heard that your two-legged pink mother is a whore.
Stop sniping me, you bastard!
You're probably going to see this soon, actually. Because Ready Player One did so well. Ernest Cline's second book is Armada.
Oh God.
Which is basically the last Starfighter.
God damn it. Can't we just kill this?
Nope.
Oh, God. Yeah, thanks for bringing us down. Oh.
Well, you kept describing it, and I was like, "Yep, this is
there
all
it is.
Armada. This
there
is
it is.
all Armada. Bash, face palm."
I haven't read Armada either.
Neither have I.
I listened to the audiobook.
Ernest Cline is not a good author.
Yeah, but Will Wheaton's a good reader, so it's really weird.
Oh, yeah, I know. But then again, this is the same guy who for 20 years was like, my favorite author was Bret Easton Ellis. I have no leg to stand on. I speak with no authority.
You do not.
So, alright. Alright, I guess that's me.
Yeah.
Alright, so the next one, based on a video game, but wouldn't mind seeing this as like some kind of really cool, even anime-styled, animated series for Netflix, almost specifically for Netflix.
In the vein of Castlevania.
Exactly. Is the PS1 game Parasite Eve.
Cellular DNA. Aliens within ourselves. Waiting to strike. Parasite.
The worst foe lies within. Parasite Eve.
Oh my God, that is such a mindfuck too.
I love this game. This is just one of those games. I just remember being like, because I used to date a girl who had Parasite Eve. I played it with her, and then when I got my own PlayStation, I was like, there it is. It's used. I'm gonna buy it right now. Yeah. And I played it. It's one of the few turn-based role-playing games I actually enjoyed playing. And the thing is that the game itself is very, very episodic in terms of you having to stop Eve and the mitochondrial possession that's happening, and you could just take that, start one season, split it up over 13, 15-minute episodes, and just do that.
It would be so much better than Resident Evil.
Yeah.
It would be so much better.
Especially if it's animated, because this is the kind of thing that if it were live action, you run the risk of those Sci-Fi Channel budgeted graphics. Anytime anything spews out of somebody, it looks like CG. Yes.
Along those lines, Silent Hill is a TV show on Netflix.
Yeah, you think Parasite Eve would be a mindfuck.
Yeah, Silent Hill would just destroy you.
Yeah.
My husband, I mentioned Parasite Eve. He loves the original video game.
Yeah.
It was great.
And never got the sequel, never came out here.
No, he played the sequel.
Oh, I'm sure he did. I'm sure you could buy the sequel if you wanted to look for it.
I think it was, he had access to it. It wouldn't have been too difficult, but he said it was an over-the-shoulder first-person shooter, not a proper first-person shooter, so it was like Resident Evil style, and it was terrible. I would love, honestly, because one of the guys I work with got a modded PS1 Classic, and he has the thumb drive with the mod on it. So you plug that in, and you can play all these games. And I'm really like, that's what I would do it for.
Yeah.
I would totally do it for that because I love my PlayStation. And I love the games they had on there.
The original PlayStation has some unbelievable
Right,
games.
exactly. And the PS1 Classics games are garbage.
Yeah, they're terrible.
It's like the clearance bin of video games, so that the modded out version would be awesome.
Yeah.
All right, Mike.
Yeah. Next, I'm going to go with gargoyles.
Oh my god, yes.
1,000 years ago, superstition and the sword ruled. It was a time of darkness. It was a world of fear. It was the age of gargoyles. Stone by day, warriors by night. We were betrayed by the humans we had sworn to protect, frozen in stone by a magic spell for 1,000 years.
Everybody, and again, this is one of those ones I was a little too old to get into.
You can't be too old to get into this.
Yeah, I think it was something we were all watching. At least the first season when that was like my freshman year of college.
I was out of college when it was announced. Like I remember the ad for it in front of the VHS for The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Seriously, go back and check out some of the shows of it because it is remarkably serious. It's
a very deep show for a Disney show. It was very
right.
very mature.
It is literally Shakespearean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, they fight Macbeth.
Yeah. Plus, there's the appeal of the fact that it's Michael Dorn, Marina Sirtis, Jonathan Frakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was mostly what I got out of it.
Yeah, but I mean, you have some really deep storylines. I mean, you have the forbidden love between
Goliath
and what's her name? She was the detective.
Yeah.
Right. The human.
The human.
But yeah, no, it's the storylines were deep. This animation was stylized, and the plot.
And you know what it was?
Sure.
Well, even though it was Disney Studios, the animation was styled after Batman the Animated Series.
Yes.
So it had a lot of because Gargoyles came out before.
Yeah.
The animated series, but it had that similar style.
Mm.
The kind of gothic, simplified gothic style.
And and apparently Jordan Peele would love to do a live action Gargoyles movie.
He could do it. He could pull it
off.
off.
And I mean, given the fact that he's done Get Out and now Us, and both have been massive hits, I'm pretty sure he can write his own ticket at this point.
Yeah.
So if he wants to bad enough, I don't even think Disney would tell him no.
Yeah. Just to get him under their umbrella like everybody
he's doing really
else.
well.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, would you keep it live? Would you keep it animated, or do you think you would?
I think you could do both.
Yeah,
you could do either or.
I mean, having this CG. I mean, half the time they would just be statues, so that'd be fine. And then when they come to life, it'd be at night, so you can use the dark to kind of hide some of the dodgy CG.
There's a new Hellboy coming out, and that's got.
That's all. He's all practical.
Yeah. That's all David Harbour and makeup.
Basically the wings could be partially practical.
Yeah.
Right, because you're not relying on a lot of... It's not a sci-fi based show where you have to rely on a lot of CGI and a lot of technical stuff to give this sci-fi feel to it. It's just a very gothic, very old school kind of almost horror.
Yep.
Yeah, and a lot of the time you could do it mostly practical, because most of the time their wings were just wrapped around themselves as cloaks.
Yeah.
Right.
So, except for like the flying sequences, you don't need much.
I would only request one thing. Bring back Keith David as the voice of Goliath.
Yeah.
If they go that route, yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, even live action. If you have like a CG character, just have his voice be Keith David.
Yeah. Okay. Katherine, you're up.
All right. We're going to get a little weird now. I've decided I'm going to throw out Thundar because it's just not that interesting to talk about. I'm going to go into the non-binary animal world of the Wuzzles.
We're in the land of was, they're having twice the fun, 'cause every single thing is really two in one. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, and when you add it up, you get a lot of that. Ooh, they got originality, living with a split personality, with a Wuzzles. Ooh, yeah.
Oh man, I actually...
The Wuzzle. Oh, God.
The Wuzzles is actually a very charming show. I remember
You are
that being...
digging deep, Catherine.
Yeah.
Well, it's actually, if you Google on 80s Saturday morning cartoons, Wuzzles comes up time and time again.
Yeah, that's like my sister-in-law's favorite childhood memory are the Wuzzles.
I didn't have any of the toys.
Yeah.
If I did, I probably would have more association with them. But yeah, the Wuzzles, you've got your Bumbleline, your Butterbear, your Ellaroo, your Moozle, Hoppopotamus. I mean, come on, half rabbit, half hippo.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all the cute. And also the most deadly mammal known to man.
This was one of the first ideas, one of the first shows Michael Eisner released as part of his new Disney television animation studio.
Stan Freberg was the narrator.
Yeah.
That's kind of amazing.
Yeah.
How would you do this then?
Oh, it would have to be animated.
Oh, yeah. Because anything else is just an abomination and just
it's just
a thumb in the eye of God and man.
Herculoids I could see having, broad family appeal, but the Wuzzles is just a happy little kid show with all the non-binary animals getting along just fine.
You know what? You could pull it off with that Cartoon Network style of animation.
Yeah.
Oh, like which Cartoon Network are you thinking about? Like
modern, current, like Teen Titans Go.
Teen Titans Go, or maybe
maybe The Amazing World of Gumball.
That's what I was thinking of. More like that. You could even
that
do it
with... The Amazing World of Gumball uses that kind of hybrid live action.
With the live action, the live action backgrounds with I could see that. Especially for something like the Wuzzles, I could absolutely see that. I do want to point out something, Joe, that somebody on, I believe, your Twitter feed talked about Teen Titans Go and how it needs to go, and that they just reboot it to make regular...
About sorry, Kayla.
Teen Titans.
My sister, who's a millennial, she's 24, loved the original Teen Titans. The original Teen Titans animated series.
The original Teen Titans was fantastic.
It was a fantastic show. She hates Teen Titans Go. I've kind of grown to like it because my kids love it.
So do mine.
And after a while, it grows on you, and you can see a lot of the genius behind it. Okay, she does not. She hates it. She wants the original Teen. Apparently, she must. I don't think she saw the Teen Titans Go movie because she did not see the end credits scene where they were like, "We're coming back." People.
Right. No, and Teen Titans Go to the movies is amazingly funny. Mm-hmm. It was just funny because when I saw that, though, I'm like, yeah, okay, let's reboot it to back in the old Marv Wolfman Teen Titans when they were just all fucking each other. There you go. There's your reboot.
You mean with Disco Nightwing?
Yeah, exactly. Disco Nightwing with his... Oh, man, that was a big collar.
With the open chest?
Yep. God,
what about, what was it, Gideon?
Yes,
with the
Gideon.
white boy afro over there?
The curly blonde afro.
No, that was Jericho.
Oh, that's right, Jericho.
Jericho had like the big, blonde fro and the huge fucking mutton chop sideburns, and he was mute.
Ralph, the greatest American hero, had the big blonde fro.
Yeah, exactly, but he didn't have those big mutton chops to go along with it, though.
Well, no, but he was a human.
He had the blonde Jew fro.
Yep.
All right. Sorry, I cut you off. So yes, the Wuzzles actually with the Gumball animation would be fantastic.
I think it would. Yeah.
Especially if they get the writers of Gumball on that, because the writing on Gumball is amazing.
It is so funny.
My children love Gumball.
I love Gumball.
We all love Gumball. All right, Joe, you're up.
My next one is, and this was a 70s staple or late 70s staple. It was a staple of my childhood. Saturday nights usually came after Battlestar Galactica. And given what a good job they did with the Battlestar Galactica reboot, Buck Rogers.
In the year 1987, NASA launched the last of America's deep space probes. Aboard this compact starship, a lone astronaut, Captain William Buck Rogers, was to experience cosmic forces beyond all comprehension. In a freak mishap, his life support systems were frozen by temperatures beyond imagination. Ranger 3 was blown out of its planned trajectory into an orbit 1,000 times more vast. An orbit which was to return Buck Rogers to Earth 500 years later.
I've got the entire series on DVD.
I love that series.
I had the biggest crush. I was
Gil
calculating...
Gerard.
Gil Gerard. Oh my god. I was going to sneak onto the spaceship.
I can't say anything.
I kept doing math. I was like, okay, how old am I going to be?
I can't say anything. I had a big crush on Erin Gray.
Oh, we all did.
Yeah.
She was gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yes, she was.
Like, who can pull off a white spandex catsuit like Erin Gray? I mean,
exactly.
Come on.
Like, zip halfway down, suggestively.
For a burgeoning 12-year-old boy,
Yep.
a lot.
she was pretty badass, too.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah, that was one of those shows. I remember, like, the first season was fantastic. The second season, when they cut the budget and they added Hawk.
When they had to start, when they started going to space and doing the space explorations part.
I liked those episodes.
I was more happy with the Earth-centric stuff.
But yeah, Hawk was cool.
Hawk ship was awesome.
His Hawk ship was awesome. Hawk was cool. Hawk's girlfriend.
When Hawk killed her.
Yeah, by accident.
When he put his talons through Buck's ship.
And come on, the robot that had judgment all over Tweaky.
And I mean, but the thing is, I loved the starfighters that they used. I actually had the toys.
I think I must have had something from that show.
But I think that is a show that is due for a reboot, especially when you consider the character's history. I mean, you're talking about a character that went back into the 40s as a serial. This was the inspiration for George Lucas to come up with Star Wars.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
So
like
we all grew up with the 80s, the 70s, 80s version. But
yeah. So I mean, this is a character that's due for a modern reboot, a modern take.
Princess Ardala.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Tiger Man.
Tiger Man.
And then Tiger Man was like out sick one week and they had Panther Man.
And what was that robot? There was a robot there that was also in Star Wars, but they always gave Tweety a hard time. It was the one with the tall one.
Yeah, that was the one on the spaceship series.
Yeah. He and Tweety were always going at each other.
Oh, I just remember him like because he was much taller and he would like bring up his arms and look down.
Yep.
And Tweety. Beat.
Yeah. Voiced by Mel Blanc.
Yep.
That's right.
And William Daniels did the voice of oh god, I want to say Dr. Zayas, and I know that's completely wrong.
Dr.
The chest guy.
The chest guy, yes.
Yeah, I can't be bothered to remember.
But I mean,
would you do this though in like as dark as Battlestar Galactica was? Or you do it that dark?
No.
Well, the thing was that the original Battlestar Galactica, people don't remember. It was pretty dark. You know, there was like I have the original series on DVD as well as some of the new series. The first couple seasons were okay, and then they ended up being the Golga Frenchians, and I was over it. And then they did Caprica, and they broke their own mythology, and I was like, you guys are so wrong.
It was written by Mormons. What do you want?
Oh yeah,
Dr. Theopolis.
That's right.
Okay.
And it was not.
It wasn't William Daniels?
Nope, it was Eric Server.
Yeah, I know.
You know what? I'm confusing with Kit. I apologize.
But no, I mean, can you imagine modern? Would you do it as dark as? I mean,
but the thing was that it wasn't a dark.
Buck Rogers wasn't really a dark kind of.
It was the series. Yeah, like the original Battlestar Galactica did have like your poor people living on these crummy ships and didn't have anything and.
Right, but Buck Rogers is always like the man out of water, but in an idealized society.
Yeah, but he brings
He brings like the
his jazzy dance.
Yeah, that too.
God.
Like sing "Strangers in the Night." They kind of did a little fish out of water with Farscape.
Yeah.
But Farscape eventually was made for like the 6 people that had been watching it the whole time. So,
I got the entire series on Blu-ray.
Oh, me too. And Peacekeeper Wars.
I don't have that one on Blu-ray yet.
I win.
All right.
but thank you, Buck Rogers. I think you could do it, and it would have probably you could make it with a little broader appeal than Farscape.
Yeah, you could.
Which is
Buck Rogers is also a more well-known name,
right?
Just because of the history behind it.
Yeah, it does have have the history.
Farscape was a very niche product on Sci-Fi.
Yeah, it was made on Sci-Fi, not Sci-Fi, and it was the Henson. Basically, the Henson Company wanted to prove what you could do with puppets.
Yes. Right.
Puppetry, so.
Alright, so I got one more left, and I know this one's gotten a couple of reboots somewhat recently. But I think G.I. Joe needs to be rebooted as a cartoon where it's nothing but just punching fucking Nazis. Just these serpent Nazis.
Fight for freedom wherever there's trouble. G.I. Joe is there. G.I. Joe, American hero. G.I. Joe is there. It's G.I. Joe against Cobra and Destro, fighting to save the day. He never gives up. He's always there, fighting for freedom over land and air. G.I. Joe, American hero. G.I. Joe is there.
I just want the most woke army diverse dudes who are only there for
punching
one reason.
Chuds. You just want them punching
chuds. Actually, there's an episode where Scarlett's gonna make a movie, and some dudes get upset because that should be Duke in that movie, and then Scarlett just looks at those chuds and punches them, and they're like, ah! Because they're all from Cobra.
Always screaming, lesbian power!
Yeah. That's Lady Jane.
And then they spend the last minute and a half giving you a good moral lesson.
Exactly.
Teaching
knowing is half the battle.
Yeah.
No. Beating the shit out of Cobra's the other half.
Exactly.
Damn it.
Everything is on today's episode, and he's literally got a Cobra just pawn, one hand he's just punching him. Today we learned it's not good to steal people's bikes. There's no such thing as good people on both sides. Nazi shit. And they're just all still it hurts!
Yeah, the only one I remember was soaking a towel in water to breathe when it's in a smoke-filled home and get out. That's the only one I remember.
Sadly, those parody shorts just ruined all of them for me, so now it's who wants
body
massage?
They're so good, though.
Body massage.
I'm a computer. Still on the download.
Jack Juan.
Yeah, that's all I want. I just want it to be because the other thing too, woke G.I. Joe would piss off so many dude bros.
Oh, it
would just be the Merca dudes would be so pissed off if G.I. Joe was just going out there fucking punching fascist Nazis and chuds. It'd be awesome.
Yes, it would.
That's okay. That's mine. Mike,
Nice.
conclude.
All right. First, the human that helped the gargoyles, Eliza Maza.
Huh?
Elisa Maza.
Oh, okay.
Voiced by Sally Richardson, actually.
Wow.
Look her up.
All right.
My final choice is a show that I absolutely adored. It ran for 21 or 27 episodes before it was canceled. Pirates of Darkwater.
The alien world of Myr is being devoured by dark water. Only Ren, a young prince, can stop it by finding the lost 13 treasures of Rule. At his side is an unlikely but loyal crew of misfits. At his back, the evil pirate lord Blood, who will stop at nothing to get the treasures for himself.
No?
I remember.
Your husband brought it up.
I'm sure.
Vaguely
remember it. It was basically set in this fictional planet called I think it was called Rule.
Okay.
Ruul, and it's an aquatic. It's almost an ocean planet. With just a few bits of land everywhere. But it's being overwhelmed by this force called dark water, which is essentially just black water, but it's like kind of a cross between water and the blob.
Okay.
It just consumes things. It just eats and destroys. And the only thing that can stop it are these 13 magical treasures. And the Prince
Ali, mighty as he.
The main character, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but actually it might have been Prince Rule. That might be his name, and might be a different planet. But he's trying to find him to stop the Darkwater.
Okay.
And he's got a couple of friends to help him out, but he's being chased by this pirate, Lord Bloth, who wants the treasures for himself.
Okay.
And it was still a kid's cartoon, but it got pretty serious at times, and Bloth was friggin' terrifying. But the series, like I said, it only ran for about 21, 27 episodes. They only found about half the treasures, so it ended on a cliffhanger.
Of course.
They never got a conclusion, and I want this series to have a full start to finish, do the full thing, using modern storytelling, good animation. This thing could be awesome. It could be a groundbreaking show. I just want it. I really want it back.
All right. Cool. All right. Well, how would you redo it? Same.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, you've got the plot right there. You just do the storyline, but finish it this time.
Ah, okay. All right, Catherine.
All right, my last one. It's not exactly childhood, but we have talked about some things from the early 90s, so I'm going to go ahead and name Babylon 5.
Okay.
It was the dawn of the third age of mankind, 10 years after the Earth-Minbari War. The Babylon Project was a dream given form. Its goal, to prevent another war by creating a place where humans and aliens could work out their differences peacefully. It's a port of call, home away from home for diplomats, hustlers, entrepreneurs, and wanderers. Humans and aliens wrapped in 2,500,000 tons of spinning metal, all alone in the night.
It's yeah, we're watching it on Amazon Prime right now, and it does.
How has it aged?
The acting is spans the gamut from really good to guy thought he was on a Saturday morning kids show, kind of lousy.
Guess who didn't mute his phone again?
Kind of.
Leave me alone.
Spans the gamut. You could just cut there. Spans the gamut from really excellent stuff. Some of the actors from Star Trek Next Generation show up and do a really good job, and then you have people that must have been a friend of J. Michael Straczynski and just had the acting chops of Saturday morning kids live action show, the ones that were on before 7 o'clock kind of quality. Gotcha. So one of the episodes I was like, this is a really good storyline and they are really not acting well at all. And it's also really dated. A lot of the war, analogs are very Vietnam era, which even in '94 was a little bit old.
Yeah.
So I think with with our current situation and the wars that we've been dealing with for the last 20 years
or so.
I mean, given the whole premise of Babylon 5 being this station
neutral space,
neutral space, having terrorist groups, alien groups.
A shining beacon of light all alone in the night.
Yeah, I mean, having terrorist alien groups trying to attack, you could really do some nice analogs.
Yeah. I think just with the acting that people expect now of their shows.
Yeah.
And the level of acting and just a little tweak to the storyline, and also see it out through the way it was originally written. Because it was supposed to be a 5-season arc. They got canceled on their station, so they crammed everything into season 4, and it ended really too quick. And then they're another station's we'll take you on. And they're okay, we gotta write another season. What is that? And it was season 5 was terrible. Season 1 is useful to watch eventually to understand. Season 2 you go through and push through. Seasons 3 and 4 are amazing.
Yep.
So I think redoing Babylon 5 would be really cool.
Cool.
All right.
That leaves Joe.
My last
one.
I kind of have to preface this a little bit. As an anime fan,
no
shit, right? Kind of the holy trinity of anime are Star Blazers or Space Battleship Yamato, Mobile Suit Gundam, and Super Dimensional Fortress Macross.
Yep.
Or Robotech.
Yeah.
Only
we don't speak of Robotech. we don't speak of Harmony Gold and Carl Masick.
Or Southern Cross.
Anyways, 2 of those 3 have been rebooted to a certain extent. Space Battleship Yamato was rebooted as Star Blazers 2199. It's in the second season as 2202.
And Mobile Suit Gundam has been rebooted again.
No. The original Mobile Suit Gundam that came out in 1979, it's been rebooted as rebooted / prequel with Mobile Suit Gundam: The Origin, which tells the story of Char leading up to the events of Mobile Suit Gundam and some of the events in it. The only one that hasn't been done rebooted is Super Dimensional Fortress Macross.
Because it was great and you don't need to reboot it.
It is great. I'm not...
But
it's actually been rebooted as a manga called Macross the First, and it retells the story of the original Macross and adds a whole lot of new twist to it. And I would love to see that animated with, again, all new animation techniques. They did such a wonderful job of rebooting Space Battleship Yamato that I will love to see that done to Macross. And again, modern storytelling techniques. Because let's be honest, I mean, I've got the entire Macross series, the Macross series, on DVD and Blu-ray, and it has not aged well. You knew which episodes were the sponsored ones and which ones weren't. Okay, you could tell the difference between the Korean animation studio and the Japanese animation studio.
It was late 70s, right?
80 Macross came out in 82.
Okay, but I mean that's the animation.
There was some quality animation.
It was good, but compared to some of the stuff we've got nowadays,
correct.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and at the very least, I'd like to see the movie redone.
Yeah.
Do You Remember Love? I think that would be good for a reboot too.
I want to know what love is.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I like the original story of Macross. I think it holds up.
No, the story holds up, but like I said, the thing is, the new Star Blazers reboot, because in the US they do call it Star Blazers 2199, does a very good job of taking the original story and adding a lot more depth to it. It's the same basic story, but it has a lot more depth to it, and you understand the characters' motivations a lot more than just the surface. Oh, hey, we got to go to the nebula on the outside of the Magellan Way, get the life DNA and bring it back to Earth to save Earth. There's a lot more to it. You understand a lot of the conflict between the Gamelan Empire, why they invaded Earth, and what Earth's reason was for counterattacking and stuff like that. So
cool. All right, anyone have any final thoughts before we wrap this one up?
Nope.
No? Excellent. That was a good, interesting discussion.
Yeah.
That was very good.
Yeah. So we'll see what actually will be the first one to get rebooted.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Actually, before we sign off, of the modern reboots, what are your guys' favorites?
It's tough for me because I don't watch any of them, and it's more time than desire. I just simply do not have the time to watch shit. I really don't. I have my shows. That's it. That's all I'm watching.
Well, I mean, I just finished watching Voltron, and that was fantastic. But I mean, DuckTales is so damn good, and
I love that. I really do, and that one I have tried to make some time for, and I really love DuckTales.
Yeah,
it's just kind of like when we talked last episode about Mickey Mouse. You want to talk about a successful reboot of Mickey Mouse? Those Paul Rudish cartoons are very successful.
The new shorts are very, very good.
Did you fall down a rabbit hole?
Yeah.
Jesus,
I did.
I just sprayed there.
But I started watching on YouTube, and I went down the rabbit hole, and I'm like, I'll click to the next one. 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 You know what? Just fucking playlist. Just playlist it, goddamn it.
But those are really, I mean, those are so much fun to watch, so...
And, I mean, the second season of She-Ra is coming out April 26th.
Yeah.
And, that one is... I mean, I never watched the original She-Ra. I was always a He-Man guy. Yeah. But this one is really, really good.
I'm interested in seeing what my wife would think about that, because she was a She-Ra fan when she was a kid.
Mm-hmm. It provides amazing, like, the rivalry between She-Ra and Catra is easily the centerpiece of the show.
Okay.
It is so amazing. And they provide an episode which gives, like, the backstory of how they grew up.
Yeah.
And their relationship kind of... beginning and then seeing where it ends up. It's it is really amazing.
Interesting. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I mean, along those lines, I have to agree. I love the Voltron reboot.
Yeah, I when I first started, I didn't think I'd like it, but it takes the characters in really, really fantastic ways.
It aligns more with the original Japanese anime.
Yeah.
Than the original American Voltron.
Yeah.
In the sense that it's I don't want to say it's darker, but it has a lot more adult, mature themes than you expect the original Voltron, than what you remember the original Voltron having.
Yeah.
So,
and again, like I love the modern anime reboots of like I said, the Yamato 2199.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. If you were anybody listening, if you were a fan of the original Star Blazers back in the late 70s on Channel 25 in the morning. For Massachusetts residents, I highly recommend going. It's available. I think it's on Crunchyroll. Yamato 2199. You will not be disappointed.
Excellent. And I also think this is the first episode where we've talked this extensively about anime. All right, so next episode we are going to be doing our annual Star Wars riff.
Yay!
Yep. Next up is Return of the Jedi. It should be a lot of fun, that'll be our May the 4th Be With You episode.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I always look forward to those, because it's just us sitting in a room watching the movie,
Star
talking.
Wars.
Yeah, we watch Star Wars. It's awesome.
Yep.
So, yeah. So you can check out for past episodes of Geek Salad at geeksalad.podbean.com. Check us out on the Podbean app. Check us out at Stitcher, Spotify, Google Music, and iTunes. As well as on YouTube, where we also have exclusive video content every week. We've been doing our retro movie reviews. Last week we did one with Jesse McAnally from Musicals with Cheese, and we covered Moana. This week we're doing Zootopia, which will be in the past when this episode finally airs.
Yes.
So we're doing all of those. So yeah, definitely subscribe to that channel. Don't forget to click to be notified. You can also reach us at geeksalladradio@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Facebook at Geek Salad Podcast and at Twitter on Geek Salad Radio. Am I forgetting anything?
I don't think so, no.
Excellent. All right. So anyway, until next time, I'm Andy.
I'm Mike.
I'm Joe.
I'm Katherine.
Go forth and be nerdful. Talk to you later.
You want to tell us how you did that?
I didn't do anything. All I did was pick up the sword and then, whoosh, I'm in a tiara.